everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the 10-7 MMA. I'm your boy DS, and I'm here with my guy, the one and only Bam Bam.
Damn,
Fucking, you switched it up on me. I feel like I was expecting you to be on the other side.
well, that's how it normally is, man. This is a weird episode, DS. We're doing different things here at D107 MMA. How are you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm excited. Obviously, we're here to break down UFC 315 purely from a betting perspective. I'm sure we'll end up being a little bit more long-winded and touching on some other things. But this is our second edition of this very special betting podcast that we're doing. And of course, once again, hands together for our boy Harry from Pro Schmo Bets. Yeah, yeah.
Harry,
What's good,
What's
Harry?
up?
How are
What's
you,
up,
brother?
fellas? How you doing? Excited, man. Love this show, man. I love it. Dino and Bam.
Boom.
hey,
That's my guy. Great having you again, bro. Obviously, last time it was fun going through things. The expertise that you bring, and we touched on it last time, but you are in the trenches from a betting perspective. You've been doing this for a long time. I guess maybe just touch on it briefly again. We don't have to do this every single time, but since it's only the second time we're doing it, maybe just touch briefly on kind of what it is that you do and focused on, and then we'll dive right into the card for UFC 315.
Hey, very simple, man. I do try and get around guys like you, all right? The sharps at casinos. I have machine learning AI stats, and I like to ride trends. I take what I see from fight tape as well. I use observation, see what lines are placed, and I draw a conclusion with it alongside a team of people, man. We got eight people on the team. They're all great people. I'd love to have them on your show as well. We have a statistician, we have a matchmaker. I try and assemble the same shit that Dana has in his war room. Now, people laugh at it when I say it and mention it, but that's really the best setup you can have if you're really trying to make money, brother. Because the worst thing that could happen if you don't work around doing your best, like you said, get in the trenches, is lose the money. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to lose it. All right. At best, you should be breaking even.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, and you're not doing this for the big cats, right? You're doing this for your everyman better as well, to have some of these advantages. And I like what you said because you're kind of recreating very specific. It's like you're putting yourself almost in the mindset, right, of these people who are making these decisions and who are setting up these fights. So I like that a lot. Um, of course, Dino Bam Bam. We didn't do our little intro here, but you guys know what it is. 10-7 MMA. Follow us on Instagram, all that bullshit.
like, subscribe, and then also do like the thing at the bottom. Check out Harry at www.proschmobets.com. Do
Period.
that for us.
Period. All right, boys. Anything else before we dive right into this relatively short card? 12 fights on the docket. Anything else you want to say before we get into it?
Yeah, before we go into every single fight here, DS, we're just gonna go over, I guess, our favorite bets on the card.
Fair.
Really quickly. We'll give it off to Harry first. Harry, what's your favorite? If you had to pick one, man, you're only betting one damn thing on this card. What is the one bet you're making? What are you liking on this card?
That's tough, man. You can't really frame me that way, brother. But goddamn, if I have
If you
to,
got
bro,
your
right?
top
Gun to
two or
head,
three,
gun to
whatever.
head, gun to the head, bro. Belal Muhammad to lose the fight, not defend the title, no title defense, face a potential fighter in Kamaru Usman, and see Della Maddalena as the new welterweight champion of the
Damn.
world.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ, dude.
Yeah, so you're going right away, guns fucking blazing. Harry's going plus 160 on JDM. Hey, I like it. DS, I'm throwing you on the big screen, brother. What do you got?
I mean, I just want to ask Harry, if that's the take, are you betting JDM just purely on the money line, or are you taking him by knockout then?
No, man. You know why I'm not taking him on a prop bet? Because I'm incredibly confident in Fiorot and in Natalia Silva. In being confident with those three, to include Della Maddalena and Zahabi, I just take those three, all right, on the main
That's
card.
crazy.
And I have three parlays that I'm working out. Three parlays, right?
All right.
Yeah, that's right. So obviously Jack Della is straight. Manon Fiorot, I'm pairing her up. And then Natalia Silva, I'm pairing her up.
All right.
All right.
That's
And the people can find those parlays and what you just talked about on proshmobets.com.
Yeah, that's on Promo Bets or the Instagram stories, man. That's always public every day of the week.
What a guy! That's a man of the people. You're basically a modern day Robin Hood, essentially. Um, all right. Yeah, look, man, for me, I'm gonna go with an underdog as well, who is barely an underdog, but I'm gonna take Modestas Bakauskas at plus money, plus 100. To me, he is just much more technical than Ian Cutelaba is. Yes, Ian Cutelaba's got some good power. Yes, he's been a little bit more or less reckless, let's say, in his last couple of fights. And what do you know? He's actually won those fights. But for me, man, I just think that there is a big time difference in terms of technical skill on the feet. I think Bakauskas is pretty much completely recovered at this point from the knee injury. And yeah, there's maybe a little bit of recency bias here. I like Ian Cutelaba. He doesn't put on a boring fight. I think he's going to need to use the wrestling here. I think there's a world where he gets very much drawn into a striking battle here. Plus, Bakauskas is a big guy, man. I don't see him just being held down. And you never know. Cutelaba sometimes uses the wrestling, sometimes he doesn't. For me, these odds could at least be flipped. I like the value here on Bakauskas.
Yeah. And then I'll go really quickly here. I mean, I think the safest pick on this card is going to be Jasmine Jasudavicius. I know she's a minus 365. To me, that's the safest pick. If we want to get a little funky, I'm liking Chuck Buffalo, Charles Radtke, inside the distance decision, no action, right? That means if he gets himself a finish, you win the bet. If the fight goes the distance, it's a push. I don't see him getting finished. What's throwing me off a little bit is Vegas has that as a 1.5 rounds on the over-under, but I like that, man. I just don't see Mike Malott having the power to, to break him down. And we've seen Mike Malott get broken down before. So I like that pick right there. But we're going to break down every single fight, guys. We're going through the fucking entire fight card, breaking down what we see. So, guys, before we do that, Harry, anything else? DS, anything else?
No, I'm ready to dive into it, brother.
All right, DS, start us off. Introduce us, brother.
All right, great. So, first fight of the night. Like I said, this is the first of 12 fights for UFC 315, and we'll get to the main event last. First fight is going to be Brad Katona. He's taking on Beksa Almakan, who, of course, just recently fought Umar. Interesting little matchup to start us off with. Harry, do you have any official bets on this one?
Yeah, we're talking about Brad Katona now, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Hey, this is your young Peter Yan, man. Your prospect Peter Yan. All right. I like his striking. He's got an arsenal, an array of kicks. He's got a good strike selection. He can bounce back on his feet. But Brad Katona, man, this guy can take a hit. He can box. He could grab onto one of those kicks. I think the Kyrgyzstan fighter, right? He's too green. I think he's too green. I was watching 2-3 of his fights from the regional scenes, and I just got to go Brad, brother. I got to open it up too with a bang, an underdog for Montreal, Canada. Brad Katona, man, 2 decision losses where it should have went his way. I mean, goddamn, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they got the young guy here for him, and I just can't see him losing, man. That guy, bro, he gets top control on the Kyrgyzstan fighter. It's over. On his opponent, game over.
Harry, let me ask you a quick question, brother. Hey, so we talked about this a little bit last time, right? I mean, you don't have to bet on every single fight, right? I know a lot of people feel like they do, and sometimes when you don't see value in it, don't do it. If you're seeing just a little bit of value, maybe, bet a little bit, right? You don't have to bet your full unit every time. So on this fight, like, what are you betting? Are you throwing a unit on it, half a unit? What are we looking at?
Oh, I'd be comfortable. I'd be comfortable with a much larger bet if I had to. If the Jack Della Maddalena wasn't on the main card and Bukakis wasn't on the prelims, I would have took this early prelim fight and hit Brad Katona for sure, for sure.
Okay, for sure. DS, what do you got, brother?
Yeah, the only official bet that I have on this one is going to be the over, which is set at 2.5. The odds on that are minus 345. Look, it's not like amazing value, right? It's a Brad Katona fight. 13 out of his last 14 fights have been by decision. He is very well rounded. He's more a volume striker than anything else. I give the power advantage to Beckstadt. We don't have a ton of tape on Beckstadt, right? Against decent competition. But last time out versus Umar, man, I think he did enough where it impressed me to the point enough where I kind of know who Brad Katona is. And no matter how you slice it, I think no matter who you fight, if you're Brad Katona, no matter who he fights, it's gonna be a close fight, right? So I do expect a close fight here. I think Bekset's going to win it, but more than anything, I'm most comfortable here taking the over 2.5, despite the minus 345 odds on that.
Yeah, and then I'll just chime in really quickly. I mean, we already did the full card breakdown. Harry's already done his full card breakdown. Those will be in the description below if you guys want to check those out. I don't really have too much to add on to what you guys are saying. I mean, the official pick for me was Brad Katona. I don't mind the money line here. I mean, it's not something that I'm super confident in, but I'll let you guys know inside my mind what I'm betting, right? And I'm not the greatest fucking better. I'm negative on DraftKings. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I like to start the night out fun. I like to go in there and throw some money on the first fight. And I see plus value in a guy who on film I think should win this fight. They're at 135 pounds. So DS, I like what you're saying. I don't see an early finish. And if there isn't an early finish, I expect Brad Katona to grind this fight out against a guy who I've seen gas before. So Brad Katona on the money line would be my pick if I had to throw a bet on it. And knowing me, I probably will.
Respect.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the next fight on the card, which is Daniel Willie Cat Santos. He is taking on Junyoung Lee, who, as I kind of mentioned, as we were just discussing before we went live here, looked really, really bad in his last fight. Dino, do you have any official bets on this fight?
All right, so with this one, man, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm staying away from this fight, and I'll tell you why. These are two guys that, to me, just scream inconsistency, right? You know I love me some Daniel Santos. I love me some shoot the box Diego Lima. The things they do at that gym. I mean, those fighters are fucking crazy. They're dynamic. They get finishes, but a lot of them are young, dumb, and full of cum, right? They blow their wad and they gas quickly. So how do you trust Willie Cat? And then as far as Junyoung Lee, you just said it, man. This guy looked absolutely miserable in his last fight, and that's not a guy that I want to, count on with my money. So for me, this is just going to be a wild, scrappy fight, and I think it'll be entertaining. I'd rather keep my money in my pocket.
Yeah.
Harry.
Yeah, man. Hey, I agree, man. It's crazy. Just the way he went out. Hyder Emil. I was there. I was at the Apex. Hyder Emil finished him with the forearm. So that's sloppy. And then Daniel Santos is pulling out of fights, and they give him a challenge. He's pulling out. He can't make the weight. He's up at featherweight here. I think the best way to approach this, even though he's going to be a bit undersized, because he's very short, he's got to grapple, man. He's got to grapple. So you're right. It's a very inconsistent fight. We don't know which way it could go, but he's got to grapple.
So no bet on this one for you.
No, I wouldn't touch this.
All right, DS.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you guys, man. There's too many variables here. There's not we don't have a lot of consistency here, right? Daniel Santos hasn't fought in 2 years. Then and not only that, something that we didn't really even mention in the breakdown is he's fighting at 145 now. He wasn't particularly big for 135, right? So now he's moving up. It doesn't look like he packed on muscle. In fact, he looks kind of pudgy. So, coming off a 2-year hiatus at a higher weight class, and in these lighter weight classes, right? The difference in speed is crazy. Like it's just 10 pounds, right? But the difference in speed is quite visible. Now, I don't expect Junyoung Lee to stand there and brawl like in the middle of the cage like he did last time. I think that was just insane. He just maybe the moment got to him. Again, if I was gonna bet anything, it would be the over. But the fact that it's set at 2.5, I don't really like. And you're getting plus money on that. It's plus 100 if you wanted to go that route. Maybe I end up betting that. I think I'm just gonna keep my money in my pocket for this one. Just too many variables. Like you guys said, Lee looked bad in his last fight. Santos moving up a weight class. Has shown inconsistencies in the past as well, and now he's coming off a 2-year hiatus. Yeah, not touching it.
Yeah, and I like that, man. I mean, look, hopefully we made money on that first fight. There's nothing fucking wrong with keeping that money in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy a good fucking fight.
Absolutely. I like how you're telling us like a little narrative.
That's what it is. I'm trying to get the viewers involved. Like, get them in our minds, right? That's what we're doing here.
The mind of a quirked up white boy. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I like that you're doing it.
Boom. DS, do your job and let them know what the next fight is, brother.
The next fight is Marc-Andre Barriault. This is only our second Canadian, the first one being Brad Katona, of course, and he is going to be taking on Bruno Silva. This is an interesting fight too. Harry, do you have an official bet on this one?
Brother, Bruno Silva is horrible in the center of that octagon. He's horrible off his back when his cage is pressed up against the wall. And guess what? Styles make fights, man. Marc-Andre Barriault on the money line.
DS.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, same. I'm taking the exact same thing. I think these odds could actually be a little bit more in Marc-Andre Barriault's favor. I understand that, he hasn't looked like incredible in his last two, right? Losses to Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer, that's a that's a big, strong fucking dude. He caught him with an overhand. It's curtains at that point. The Dustin Stoltzfus fight, another knockout. I mean, I wasn't particularly high on Dustin Stoltzfus, but to me, that doesn't take away everything that I've seen from Marc-Andre Barriault up to that point. Um, yeah, I'm taking him on the money line. I don't trust Bruno Silva. He hasn't looked good in years at this point, really. Me and you talked about this, Dino. Very interesting career trajectory, right? Somebody who came in, had a close fight with Pereira, looked really good, had a couple big knockouts, and then all of a sudden, just I don't know, just he's not that old, right? He just like I don't know if he doesn't want to fight, if there's been some injuries that we don't know about. But there's no possible way that I could even like I don't think he's a live dog, really, right? Anything could happen. These are two big fucking dudes, but yeah, give me Marc-Andre Barriault on the money line here.
Yeah, and look, man, I'm with you guys, right? And I just want to let you know, I feel like everybody's with this, right? Marc-Andre Barriault, when we started prepping for this video about 15, 20 minutes ago, when we were typing all this shit out and we put the odds on, minus 162 for Marc-Andre Barriault. It has already gone up to minus 175 on DraftKings. So it seems like it's moving that way.
Yeah, you should bet that one maybe now if you're gonna bet it.
That's what I'm saying. I expect Marc-Andre Barriault to win this fight by decision. Bruno Silva, as you mentioned, man, a guy that has, looked great at the start, had that loss to Pereira, lost to GM3, beat Brad Tavares, and it was like, okay, maybe he'll get back on a run. Then 4 straight losses. Brendan Allen, Shara Magomedov, Chris Weidman, and Ismail Nardiev. I mean, 4 losses in a row. You're looking at probably a 5th loss in a row here. The guy probably gets cut. And to be honest, he hasn't looked good in any of those fights, right? So that's the problem for me. Marc-Andre Barriault, a guy that's desperate for a win. He's going to be fighting in front of a home crowd. The crowd is going to be for him. The judges might be biased. So if this goes to decision, he wins it. And that's kind of how I expect it to go. So give me Marc-Andre on the money line. I agree with all you guys.
Plus 215, by the way, for that.
Yeah, let's get it.
So, and I actually really do like that. Though I do see a world where he might get the knockout.
Yeah, I think a finish is very live here. I think a finish is very live, so I would go money line.
Yep. Yeah, same. I like that. All right, let's move on. Next fight on the card, we've got Navajo Sterling. He is taking on Ivan Erslan. Dino Bam Bam, do you have an official bet on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I said it. I don't know what the hell happened there. I said it right before, right at the beginning of this video. To me, actually, I didn't say it. This is the one I wanted to say. Navajo Sterling. I think he's pretty much a lock, man. I like Ivan Erslan. He's got crazy power. There is a world where he does get a knockout in this fight. I was very impressed with him in his debut. It was a guy that I didn't think would perform as well as he did, and he surprised us against Iwan Cutelaba. I still do think Navajo Sterling is going to get the win here. Minus 325 is a little crazy to me, so I'm hesitant on pulling the trigger. This will not be in any sort of parlays. This will not, touch any of those kind of slips. If anything, I'd go Navajo Sterling by knockout, and I'm pulling up the odds here. Minus 105. I don't mind that as a single bet or parlaying it with something that I know is like a surefire win, maybe half a unit or something like that. So I'll go Navajo Sterling by knockout minus 105. Harry.
I mean, yeah, that's how you bet a fight like that, man. We don't know what happens if Erslan, gets some top control on him, right? I mean, I saw him scramble with Ion Cutelaba. I was disappointed in how his corner would tell him, you got the first 2 rounds, and then he's not even trying to get on top of Cutelaba. Yeah. It looked like he was selling that out. I was really, really disappointed. I charged the low IQ game to him, and I hope the best here for Sterling, man. I hope he could pull through, right? I mean, he's got a whole round, the first round, to get that knockout. After that, he's going to be struggling for his life because of that cardio. I'll tell you that much, especially with a wrestler like his opponent.
So no, any bets on this?
Man, I'd ride yours. I like that. For a straight bet, anytime you could take a straight bet, take a straight bet.
Boom. From Harry himself. DS.
Yeah, no bet on this one for me, man. It's just I do like Navajo Sterling to win this. I think he's very live for the knockout. I just, he has only 6 MMA fights, right? And he comes from a kickboxing background, so he's gonna be the better striker here. Ivan Erslan's not a bad striker, and he's gonna be the better wrestler here. So with the odds as wide as they are, right? It's like Harry said, right? I don't love the cardio of Sterling. I don't necessarily love the cardio of Ivan Erslan either. But when it comes to MMA and grappling cardio, right? Man, I don't know if you've ever grappled before. It's fucked up. It's different, right? So, to me, you got a very raw guy, right, who has shown some cardio deficiencies, right? And then you've got somebody who's going to be a more well-rounded fighter, doesn't have the power, isn't going to be as good on the feet. Like I said, I still like Sterling to win. I think there's a possibility of a knockout for sure. I think that's probably what is going to happen here. I just, if we're being smart here, I just can't make a bet on it. There's too many kind of moving pieces and just somebody who's very raw. So can't trust him just yet.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, I get it, DS. Again, I'm not like super confident in throwing in that minus 105. I do think he will win. There is a world where Ivan Erslan wins this fight. I'm just saying, if I have to bet, that's what I'm doing. More than likely a no bet, but I don't mind that pick.
Sure. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
definitely. The odds are not bad on that. And there's a good possibility of that. I think I really like what you said. Definitely not something I would throw in a parlay, but as a straight bet, there's room for it.
And again, if I am going to pick this, I'm confident in this, and I do want to parlay it. You got to parlay it with something that is like a lock, right? So you throw it on with the lock of the card. I said it was Jasmine Jasudavicius. For you guys, it's going to be other people. We're going to go through this card. Maybe
Might
you
be
do.
Vanagans.
Right. Shout out Coach Tate. I got the football helmet right here, which is absolutely nuts.
Oh my
Absolutely
God, so
nuts.
random.
There it is. All right. Harry has no idea what we're talking about. High school football talk, Harry.
All right, fellas, let's move on to the next fight, which is Modestas Bakauskas. He's taking on Ion Cutelaba. I'll just go first real quick on this one, just because I already told you guys kind of what I think about this. I think all the values on Bakauskas. I don't really have a whole lot to add there. I just think he's a much better technical striker. I like that you're getting plus money here. You're essentially doubling your money, right? And I think that there's value here. I think the odds could be more in Bakauskas' favor. I think there's a chance they do end up. I think he will end up the favorite personally. I think people were sprinkling on kind of the wildness and the Tasmanian devil qualities of Ion Cutelaba. I think we see that swing the other way as we get closer. So definitely Bakauskas money line here. I think decision's likely. So let me see what you're getting on the knockout prop here. Bakauskas on the knockout is plus 275. I mean, man,
worth a sprinkle.
Might be worth a sprinkle. Yeah.
Yeah. Harry.
Hey, man, just look at the man's reach, man. Bukakis is in the prime of his life, like Ion Cutelaba. But who coached Ion Cutelaba through this weight class? You know what I'm saying? You need to have proportions to compete. Now, I wanted to take Ion Cutelaba, but my God, Bukakis is also sparring with Tom Aspinall. So, the underhooks are coming, bro. I get it. Ion Cutelaba, he's got that, I think he has that Sambo experience, but no. Well, once Bukakis gasses him out from all the attempts, it's game over there, man. It's Bukakis or no one in this spot.
Yeah. I put DS on the screen. Here we go. Hey, I'm 100% with you guys. I mean, on the full card breakdown, from a pick perspective, I absolutely expect Modestas Bakauskas to win this fight. So seeing him at plus money, I'm all for it, man. Plus 100 is absolutely love on this. I do think, like you were saying, DS, this fight is going to change. It's going to switch up these odds. That is, he will be the favorite come Saturday, come fight time. So, get in there while you can at plus money. Real quick, Modestas Bakauskas, a guy that is taking this really serious, and that's a question mark we got to have about Ion Cutelaba, right? He's a guy we've seen with a lot of mental mistakes in the cage. I don't know about his life outside the cage, but I do know Modestas Bakauskas' life outside the cage. He's fucking training with Tom Aspinall, man. This is a guy that grinded his ass off to get back in the UFC after getting mollywopped by Khalil Roundtree. What is that? He's a great fighter.
I'd love to fight.
There it is. Yeah, he's training with Aspinall. He got hurt by Khalil Roundtree really goddamn bad, and then worked his way back to the UFC, won a title in Cage Warriors. This is a guy that's dedicated. They are the same age, which is absolutely shocking. I expected Iwan Cutelaba to be a lot older than Modestas Bakauskas, but give me the plus 100. I think that's a phenomenal fucking value.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely like it. So we're all in agreement on this one. Let's move on to the next one, which is Jessica Andrade. The odds have swung quite a bit since we did our breakdown video. So plus 260 now, Andrade. Jasmine Jasudavicius minus 325. When we did the breakdown, it was like they were both in the 100s respectively. So, Harry, do you have an official bet on this one?
Name the fighters again because they broke up.
Oh, sorry. Jessica Andrade versus Jasmine Jasudavicius.
She's gonna smother her, man. Don't get me wrong, man. Andrade could definitely catch her with an uppercut, but I think she's just gonna miss it too often, bro. And that's it, man. There's nothing she could do, man. Andrade is a strawweight, man. Who are we kidding, bro? Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I get that for sure.
Look, for me, it's simple, man. I mentioned this at the beginning. I think it's the safest bet of the card. You know, I love me some Jessica Andrade. That's an absolute my girl. But Jasmine Jasudavicius, man, she is going to smother her. Like Harry said, she is the hometown favorite. She might get the loudest pop in that building. They love her. If this goes to a decision, there's no way they're letting her lose that. The UFC has nothing left to gain from Jessica Andrade. The grand finale was her being on UFC 300. We know that there's a fucking shift going on. They're trying to get rid of these old people, and they're trying to build up new young stars. Jasmine Jasudavicius is not a young girl, right? She's pretty old, actually. A lot old. Yeah, a lot older than you would think, but she's a newer face, and she's somebody that, you know, Canada is happy about. She's somebody that Canada can be proud of. And I mentioned this to you yesterday, DS. Harry, I don't know if you watched the video, but I think of Jasmine Jasudavicius and Mike Malott as sort of like a Canadian version, a Canadian generic version of Paddy Pimblett and Molly McCann, except it's switched around. She's Paddy and Mike Malott is, you know, fucking Molly McCann in this case. So yeah, Jasmine Jasudavicius minus 325. We're going to talk about Mike Malott next, and I don't mind throwing them two in a little parlay. The A team, you know, like Canadian EH, the A team. That's the name of the parlay.
I'm gonna share something with you, Dino, man. You know, you take it how you will. I know how I took it, right? The Nelk boys had promised Isaac Dogarian a sponsorship, right? And guess who they decided to go with instead? Last minute pivot, Mike Malott. All right, they showed up. They showed out when he was like a minus 500 hysterical, and then they disappeared when he was on a fight skid and then lost. I mean, on a streak and then lost. Right? I don't know. Those boys are, you know, sponsored by so many casinos. They love to gamble, but it's how you make your money. You know, if Sharp does bet with the tools he has, but you know, the best in the world, they got insider information. Check out Billy Walters. Google Billy Walters.
Billy Walters. Let's go.
Yeah, man. Look, this odds jump has kind of thrown me for a loop here. I very much expect Jasmine to win. She's a hometown favorite. She's much bigger. I think she has 6 inches of reach, 6 inches of height. Fuck, man, minus 325 is a lot though. And Jessica Andrade hits like a truck. Yes, it's not the Jessica Andrade of old, but fuck, man. I mean, Jasmine does not have good striking defense. She's very, very hittable. And Jessica Andrade is going to hit a lot harder than pretty much anybody that Jasmine's fought to this point. I'm leaning no bet at this point, man. I really am. I'm leaning no bet. If I was going to bet anything, it would be Jasmine on the money line. But I think maybe the time to make that bet comfortably, for me at least, for my druthers, was maybe a couple days ago.
Hey, I'm all for it, man. And, you know, as a fan of this sport and as a fan of Jessica Andrade, I'm hoping she wins. So I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. But I'm fairly confident.
Well, I'm picking Jasmine to win. Just for the record.
Hey, let's go.
All right. Let's move on to the next fight, which is, of course, as you just talked about, Mike Malott. He is taking on Charles Chuck Buffalo Radtke. Very, very interesting matchup of styles. Harry, do you have an official bet on this one?
Yeah, man. I like you know, Mike Malott for those reasons, you know, that I mentioned to you. But just a crazy decision. All Radke's got is a finish, man. And I'd rather go with somebody who's Mike Malott, man. Just what Jasmine Jasudavicius could do. Good game planning with a single leg or something on Radke. And I mean, I'd like to see Radke get the finish, but like mentioned, man, a lot of these guys are really behind him. These products like the Full Send, they're just behind their guy, man. How old is Mike Malott? 32?
I'll check it out for you.
He's very young, but yeah, I'm just going Mike Malott for all those reasons. I
33.
like Radke, man. I like the plus money there, but Radke is not. What's this guy? The guy that Chael Sonnen is always promoting. He's no Oban Elliott. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Love me some Oban Elliott. DS.
Yeah, I'm taking Charles Radtke on the money line, man. Plus 140. It was even higher than that. So this is another one that maybe you should get in on sooner than later. Um, that's kind of been a trend so far, actually. Look, Mike Malott is the more well-rounded fighter for sure. He's got some decent striking. And then Charles Radtke, it's interesting, right? Because he's fought three guys who are not very good and beat them, and then he lost to Carlos Prates, and we know how that has aged, right? And that's aged as well as a loss can age at this point in this weight class, right? So for me, I'm going to take Chuck Buffalo on the money line, man. I like his clinch work. I think he's going to be a much better striker, going to land with more power. And kind of what I touched on when me and you discussed it for the breakdown, I just think the mental side of things, to be getting plus money here, again, this is another one where I think the odds makers got it wrong. So yeah, Chuck Buffalo at plus money, give me that all day.
Yeah, and we lost Harry there. Hopefully he'll join us back here in a minute. But look, DS, I'm 100% with you, man. I picked Chuck Buffalo, on the breakdown. Maybe I'm a little biased, right? I'm in the Bulls shirt, the fucking Bears hat. You're rocking the Bulls hat. The
Yeah.
new Pope is from Chicago. We got Belal and Chuck Buffalo going on.
I was
You,
wondering if we are gonna weave that in at some point.
there it is. We got, big things are going on in the city. And I'll tell you, man, he's motivated, dude. The guy is absolutely motivated to beat Mike Malott. He's pissed off about the USA Canada thing that's going on. I mentioned it at the beginning. Inside the distance decision, no action. I love that bet. I like Charles Radtke to get a finish in this fight. Now, if you did want to go the other way with it and you did want to do the A team parlay, and that's team parlay, shout out Canada. You can get Jasmine Jasudavicius and Mike Malott at plus 109 on a little Parleezy. So I
For
don't
money line,
mind. What is it?
money line.
Yeah, if you take them both on the money line, you're at plus 109. Nice little bet for back-to-back fights. You know what I'm saying? Maybe double up your money right there.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that, especially if you're taking the underdogs on straight bets or as part of a bigger parlay. I don't mind that at all, honestly. Plus, Jasmine should win that fight. Mike Malott is a favorite for a reason, right? I mean, he is more well-rounded. He's got better cardio. He was pretty tentative versus Trevin Giles, right? So, I think we could see a world where he kind of is able to stay out of the way of these shots from Charles Radtke and use his defensive movement. I could see that, and potentially get a submission. I think if you're betting on Mike Malott, he's a really good wrestler, and you want to see him use that wrestling, right? And you want to see him use that wrestling, and I think that you have a decent shot at a sub. I just think that that's where part of that mental comes in, right? I don't see Charles Radtke just being held down and subbed. So
Yeah, I'm with you, man. So we're both going Chuck Buffalo on the money line. Harry from Pro Schmo Bets likes Mike Malott at minus 166.
yes, sir. Are we getting him back? Are we just going to continue, or what's happening?
Yeah, let's pause right here, and we'll bring Harry back on
Okay.
after this edit.
All right, bro. Sadly, then there were only two. We lost Harry. He's wandered off somewhere. He's having some technical difficulties. So, sadly, if you were here for Harry, please continue on with the rest of your day. He's not coming back. I'm sure we'll get back in touch with him for the next big card. But we're still here to give you guys what you asked for. Me and Dino will obviously continue and kind of just go through the rest of the card, and as you know, from a betting perspective. So, anyways, Dino, let's just continue, my brother. Next fight on the docket is, of course, Benoit Saint-Denis versus Kyle Prepolic, stepping in on short notice. I don't think I have to ask, but do you have any specific special bets on this one, Dino?
No special bets, man. I mean, we talked about this yesterday, Diaz. The odds fucking speak for themselves. It was minus 1,000 yesterday. It's minus 1,200 today. what are you really gaining, right? Like throwing this as a single bet is nuts. Obviously, you make nothing. Throwing it in a parlay is again next to useless, right? It's not going to do anything for your parlay, and it might just be the one that fucking breaks it. You know what I mean? So this is a no bet for me. If you're a degenerate and you feel like just hitting the jackpot, Kyle Prepolic obviously maybe worth a sprinkle anytime someone's minus 1,000, minus 1,200. It's worth sprinkling, I guess, on the other person, but I'm not touching this fight.
Yeah, if you're gonna do anything, it's exactly that. I would say Kyle Preplick probably by first round knockout, and if you're gonna go, just go balls out. I don't see it happening for BSD. Like he's gotten knockouts, he's gotten submission victories. Like, are you gonna sit there and try to pick which one he's gonna win it by? I just don't think there's any value here. Again, if you're gonna sprinkle something, just sprinkle Preplick.
Yeah, right. Might as well get like a nice little dinner on Kyle Prepolic.
I mean, you get a fat fucking dinner depending on how much you bet, But
Yeah,
yeah, those are crazy odds. Also, it just pisses me off. Like, okay, minus 1,200. Why isn't it plus 1,200? Why isn't it plus 1,000? Like
right.
plus 750? Really? Like you're not allowed to make money. God
Nope.
forbid.
Not a,
Anyway, let's move on. There's not much to be said there. This, of course, very interesting. Alexa Grasso taking on the fast rising Natalia Silva. And if you want, again, if you want all the full breakdowns, go check out the full breakdown video, right? We're just talking about from a betting perspective on this one. Do you have any official bets on this one, Dino?
I mean, man, probably not DS. I mean, maybe an individual bet, right? I think Alexa Grasso is going to win this fight. Again, not something I'm confident in a parlay. I'm pretty comfortable, I guess, with the plus 210. So I'll change what I said. Yeah, I'll go Alexa Grasso single bet here. DS, I don't know, man. You picked Natalia Silva. You were sort of 50-50 on it in the full fight breakdown. Harry, I wish he was here for this because he was really adamant about these last 3-4 fights.
Yeah.
He's confident as shit in Natalia Silva. You guys can follow him at Pro Schmo Bets on Instagram. We'll link his Instagram, or go follow us on Instagram and then look through our
Well,
friends.
we'll at least tell you guys because we obviously discussed it with Harry. We know how he's betting these last couple, but yeah, definitely check him out either way.
Yeah, real quick. Yes, my bad. If I didn't make it clear, Alexa Grasso money line. I like this a lot, man.
Yeah, look, it's not. I think Natalia Silva is gonna win. I do. I think there is a potential for her to finish this fight too. I think she wins it by decision, but I think there's a potential for a finish here. I could see a sub. I don't really see a knockout personally. Um, but Alexa Grasso at plus 210 against somebody who's fought good competition has not fought somebody like Alexa Grasso. I don't know, man. I even told you at the time, this is kind of like a hunch pick, Natalia Silva more than anything. Alexa Grasso is like maybe my favorite women's fighter of all time. One of the coolest moments was when she beat Valentina, even though I love Valentina too. Um, yeah, I would sprinkle it. I would sprinkle it. I'm not putting that in the parlay, but at plus 210, there could be value there, man. We could simply see a true fraud check, right? I don't see it happening, but it might just be Natalia Silva too big for her britches, and you have somebody who was just a champion, right, and has given the current champion, well, at least one really tough fight. Yeah, I still like Natalia Silva to win, but from a betting perspective, I don't mind the sprinkle on Grasso.
Yeah, and I mentioned this in the breakdown a little bit, man. Anytime you get a former champion, especially, one fight removed from the belt, and you see him at plus money versus especially someone that hasn't gotten there yet, right? Someone on the climb. I love that, man. Alexa Grasso plus 210. I am definitely going to be betting that. I like it a lot, man. I think more than likely she wins this fight. Like you're saying, it's a hunch pick. I think it's a 50-50 fight with a slight edge towards Alexa Grasso.
I'm more than 50-50, man. I'm more than 50-50. I'm like 65-35 that Silva's gonna win this. I just think that there's no value in betting that. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, 100%. So, yeah, I'm saying bet it. You're saying sprinkle. I like it a lot.
I won't call it an official bet for me, but yes.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Jose Aldo versus Ayman Zahabi. Are you making a bet on this one?
You should be going first, but I'll just go
Sure.
first quick. I mean, I'm already on the big screen, DS.
Go
Look,
for it,
for
bro.
me,
No problem. Go for it.
for me, brother, no official bet. Absolutely not. Because look, Jose Aldo, while yes, it seems like at this point in his career, there's a certain type of fighter that beats him, and it's a grappler, right? It's somebody that's able to hold him up against the cage, We saw that with Marab. We saw that with he who shall not be named. We don't like to say his name anymore on this channel. But yeah, that's the recipe to beat Jose Aldo, right? And Amin Zahabi is definitely not that guy. So you'd be thinking, Dino, why aren't you going money line Jose Aldo? Because minus 205 is a lot, man. Amin Zahabi has been on a roll. I do expect Jose Aldo to win this fight, but I'm not confident enough to part ways with any of my money in this one. Zahabi's on a 4-5 fight win streak. He looked so goddamn good his last time out. So I don't want to bet this one. I'll just be a fan.
Yeah, no official bet for me either, man. Look, I expect Jose Aldo. I hope he goes back to the leg kicks. And not that I'm on Zahabi, some crazy explosive athlete who he needs to slow down, but at least take some thing off the shots. I like Aldo's experience, obviously. I expect him to land more volume. There is a bit of a size difference, but I mean, Aldo's kind of used to that at this point. I think he is a much better striker, but fuck, at some point the end will be here, right? At some point he will hit a wall. And Zahabi is on a nice win streak. I don't think he's like that personally. He has looked pretty good, but the level of competition hasn't been like crazy high or anything. Jose Aldo, one of the goats of the sport. Yeah, same thing, man. I like him to win. I'm not betting.
Yeah, I think honestly this could go to decision. So maybe just taking the over on the rounds or the fight to go the distance isn't bad. I don't see Amin Zahabi finishing.
Honestly, you know what? I like. Well, I didn't even give that too much thought. Yeah. Let me just find the odds for that.
I mean, if you take the over on the rounds, you're looking at minus 345. So Vegas is there with us.
Over 2.5 is minus 410. I don't think there's value there either, honestly. No bet.
Yeah. Yeah, decision is minus 330. Really, yeah, there's not much money to be made here.
No. Unless you really believe in Ayman Zahabi.
Yeah, right. You take him by decision, you're looking at plus 250. So
there you go. I mean, I just don't see it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Co-main event: Valentina Shevchenko taking on Manon Fior. I guess I will go first on this one. I would take the over here, man. I would take the over here. Over 4.5 is minus 315. It's not like the best odds. I just don't really see a finish in this. I think it's for me. I like Valentina, and I know I know your mouth is probably watering right now. You see a plus next to Valentina Shevchenko's name. You'll probably never get that again, right? Unless maybe she fights Wei Li, then you probably will see that again. I like Valentina to win, but this is truly 50-50 for me. Manon Fior has looked really good, has fought high-level competition, is so much bigger, has got the striking know-how, is hard to take down. I just think no matter how you slice it or who you think is going to win this, I don't really see a finish here. I don't see Manon Fior getting subbed. I don't see Valentina getting knocked out. So give me the over here. I wish the odds were a little bit better on that, but minus 315, I think it's a decent parlay piece.
Yeah, look, here's the way I see it, DS. While I do expect Valentina Shevchenko to win, plus 105 is pretty good. But like you said, man, I don't see a finish in this fight at all, especially from the side of Manon Fior, which is actually, kind of strange, right? I think if she wins, it's going to be by decision. I think if Valentina wins, more than likely it'll be by decision. Valentina by decision plus 215, Manon Fior plus 110 by decision. So that's the way Vegas is, Vegas is expecting this to go the distance, and they're still giving Manon Fior, favorite odds here. That tells me one of a couple things, and we were talking to Harry about this. It's what does the UFC want to do, right? And oftentimes, we don't like to hear this about sports that we love and shit like that. But oftentimes when it's a really close fight and it could, swing either way, it's going to go the way of the promotion, right? What the promotion wants. So we got to put ourselves in that position. What does the promotion want? Do they want a new champion, a fresh face in Manon Fior? Now, she's not the youngest. She wouldn't be the youngest champion. She's in her mid 30s. So it's not somebody that's going to reign for a very long time. What does Manon Fior do for the UFC? Well, she brings in a French crowd. I think they're pretty good in France right now, man. They go to France. It's sold out. The crowd is crazy. Cyril Gane, BSD already kind of built that bridge, right? And then it's like, what else does she do? Is there a super fight with Manon Fior? Man, I don't see the next fight being massive with Manon Fior. Is her and Natalia Silva or her and Alexa Grasso a huge fight? No, I think it's just a co-main event on the next random ass pay-per-view in Utah or something like that. Now with Valentina Shevchenko, I think there is something to be earned there. While yes, she's tried and true and tested, and Harry likes to talk about legacy fighters and the UFC not having any. Valentina Shevchenko is the closest thing they got to a legacy fighter. She's one of the goats of women's MMA. She's on the Mount Rushmore for sure. I think a fight with her and Wei Li would be absolutely massive, not just for the UFC, but for women's MMA. So I think this is something that the UFC would want to look for. I think this is something that the UFC would love to have in a time where they're clearly struggling with, with no stars. They're hoping maybe Sean O'Malley beats Marab and they can kind of push the Sugar Show again. I don't know. There's really no big names. John Jones is inactive. Conor McGregor obviously missing in action. Alex Pereira, lost the belt. And yesterday there was the rumors about him retiring and him coming out saying he didn't say the shit that was said on his Twitter. So who knows, man? I think the UFC needs a big attraction. And I think Valentina Shevchenko and Wei Li can be that. They can be a women's main event and give us a super fight that we're fucking desperate for.
Yeah, I like how you said that. Now, yeah, if had they done a better job marketing Manon Fior up to this point, I think maybe we would feel differently, right? Because then maybe we would have that aspect of like in the WWE, right? Where it's like, why did the Montreal screw job happen? And I'm getting a little bit deep into the lore here now, but it's what were you gonna say?
We're in Montreal.
And that's why I'm bringing it up. So for me, it's like if Manon Fior was a bigger star like Shawn Michaels was, right? I think we would maybe have them leaning towards her winning this, right? So that the champ doesn't retire, go off into the sunset with the belt, right? You never want to see that. I know this isn't wrestling, but come on, it looks bad if there's no lineal champion essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
If her were versus Wei Li, right? Wei Li's moving up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, not for sure, but yeah.
I'm saying if it's that fight, but like,
oh yeah, 100%. Wei Li's going for double champ status.
Yeah, and then that would be huge for them because now she's an absolute megastar.
Mm.
So
that's what I'm saying. And by the way, DS, I'm sorry that I said that whole long-winded thing, not getting to the end point, which is basically if we get to a decision, what's better for the UFC? And in my opinion, the way I'm seeing it, I think they benefit more from Valentina Shevchenko and the possibility of a Wei Li super fight than they do with Manon Fior and just gaining a little more popularity in France where they're already fucking selling out twice a year or whatever it is.
Yep. I agree. I like
Yeah.
that. All right. Main event of the evening. We've got Belal Muhammad defending his belt for the first time. He is a sizable favorite at this point, minus 192. I actually have it as minus 192. And he's of course taking on Jack Della Maddalena. I'm sorry, I have a burp coming and I couldn't get it out. Plus 160. I guess I'll go first, or was it me or you in this one?
I'll just take it real quick because I feel like you have something more interesting than I do. Look, DS, for me, it's pretty damn simple, right? I do think Belal Muhammad's going to win this fight. I think if he wins it, it's probably by decision. I guess there's a possibility of a finish in this one, but really, there's no value left in it anymore, right? If you wanted to bet this, your time to bet it was a couple days ago, a week ago, even. I mean, yesterday we did the pod and he was like minus 160 something, minus 170. He's up to minus 192. This is going to hit minus 200 real soon. So really the bet, if there is a bet to be made on this, I guess if you're confident in Belal, throw it in a Parleezy. If not, if you're just like, 55 to 45, 60, 40 leaning Belal, throw money on Jack Della Maddalena, man. You never know. The UFC, I feel like there's no reason that they would want Belal to be the champion, right? So another situation where if it goes to decision, do we get that Montreal screw job? Islam Makhachev rumors of moving up. I think they want. I think they would love that for Islam to make him a double champ, or maybe they want the Ilya and fucking Islam fight. Who knows? The only money to be made really is on Jack Della plus 160 or Belal in a parlay.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I kind of do like I like Belal by decision, man. Right now, Belal by decision, you're pretty much getting even money, minus 115. I think that's exactly how this fight's gonna go. Jack Del Maddalena, obviously great boxer, but I think Belal is just good enough everywhere, right? He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I think he's gonna be pushing forward. the threat of that takedown, right? And let's be real, man. JDM, people always say like, oh, he's pretty good, like grappler, pretty good wrestler too. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's okay, right? He's not Belal though. He's not anywhere near that level. So I just think ultimately he is going to be taken down. Bilal's going to keep him there. He'll do enough on the feet to kind of gain a little bit of respect. And look, he's got all the cardio in the world too. I think he's gonna win it, man. I would love to see JDM win, but I actually kind of do like Belal by decision because you're getting some decent odds there. Minus 115. I think it's pretty much a lock, personally.
Yeah, 100%, man. Look, I'm pretty much with you. I think we agreed on a lot this card. Again, wish we had Harry for the end of this because he was going a parlay, I believe. He said he's parlaying Manon Fior, Manon Fior and JDM, and then he's doing a parlay of Natalia Silva, JDM. Then he's doing all three of them on a parlay. He was confident in Ayman Zahabi as well. So
I was just gonna say that, yeah. So yeah, he did have very different picks than we did. So the fact that me and you agreed and he had a little bit of a different take on it would have been nice to hear. But it is what it is. But yeah, for the record, he did have Manon Fior winning. He was pretty confident. He does have JDM winning, pretty confident there too.
and
Zahabi
Natalia Silva.
he was very confident on too. So which I'm pretty confident. I think he was even more confident than I am on that one.
Yeah, I mean, he's been posting about Alexa Grasso's broken foot. Anyways, though, Harry always on his Instagram, guys, he always throws his picks on there. He puts up a little percentage of what percent of his bankroll he's throwing on that fight or on that parlay or whatever it is. So go check him out on Instagram, Pro Schmo Bets. And then follow us on Instagram as well at D107MMA. We throw up some content. And if we're ever going to change up on a pick, which has happened sometimes, we go ahead and we throw it on our Instagram. That's the way we let our fans know. So follow us on Instagram if you want like the up to the minute fucking we're panicking picks or we're switching up
That's
or we
true.
see some
That's
kind
true.
of value. Yeah, so follow us on Instagram for that. And then help your boys out. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs. We're right there. It's a big goal of ours to get there at least at some point in this summer. We're about 49 subs away. And we got to get to 1,000 and celebrate. DS, do you got anything else for the lovely people that are watching?
No, sir.
All right, guys, that right there, fucking wrong way always. That right there is DS. My name is Dino Bam Bam. We had Harry on the show. Give him a follow. We are the 107 MMA. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.